Good morning, guys. This is View from the Pastor's Study. It's Monday, August 9th, 2021. I want to talk to you about Luke's commands of Christ. Luke's commands of Christ. And we are looking at Luke's commands of Jesus Christ and how we're to apply them to our lives. Just a reminder, we're doing this because the Great Commission says that we are to teach others to observe all Christ commanded us to do. Well, we're going to look at something that's not a command of Christ, but it is. Today we're going to look at the Transfiguration. The Transfiguration. What the Transfiguration was an event that occurs and is recounted in Matthew and Mark. And the Transfiguration speaks of the fact that Jesus took, I think it was 3 of his followers up to the mountain. He took Peter, James, and John. They went up, and as he was praying on this mountain, people know exactly what that mountain might be. I think it could have been Mount Hermon. As he went up on the mountain to pray, his appearance was altered, his robe became white and glistening, and then he began talking to 2 men who were Moses and Elijah. So you had this tremendous scene that's occurring. And in the midst of all this, Peter wakes up. He had been heavy with sleep, but that'll definitely wake you up. And he said, "Master, it is good for us to be here, and let us make 3 tabernacles, one for you, one for Moses, one for Elijah," not knowing what he said. He wasn't thinking about what he was saying, but he said what he said. Then listen to what happens. Here's the command. While he was saying this, a cloud came and overshadowed them, and they were fearful as they entered the cloud. And a voice came out of the cloud saying, "This is my beloved Son. Hear him." This is my beloved Son. Hear him. When the voice had ceased, Jesus was found alone. But they kept quiet and told no one in those days any of the things they had seen. This is my beloved Son. Hear him. There's no one that compared to Jesus. There's no one that can compare to Jesus. Moses, who was a Messiah figure in the Old Testament, there's some beautiful pictures of who Moses was and what Moses represented, but Moses is not Jesus. Elijah didn't die. He was taken up by God, and he fought for Israel during that terrible time when Ahab and Jezebel were around, and God used him mightily. Tremendous man of God. But he's not Jesus. As great as any man is, as great as any teaching is, it is nothing compared to Jesus. And this really plays into our command to teach others to do what Christ has commanded us to do. And I would say to any Christian, because there's so many self-help books out there, there's so many words of wisdom people give. People who can be good speakers. Anybody from a popular podcaster to somebody like a Jordan Peterson, or maybe their favorite preacher, any of those. But I would say this to you. Don't you ever, and I say this to myself, don't you ever give them the place of prominence you give Jesus. As a matter of fact, we ought to be spending more time with him, I bet, all of us. So listen to the words of the Father when he says to us, when we're tempted to gather up a group and build our shrines to them, when he says, "This is my beloved Son, hear him." Jesus is all you need, beloved. Listen to him and obey him. So I pray God blesses you today. It's a beautiful day outside this Monday. I pray this week you will make the commitment now to be in God's house. When your church meets during the week and when it meets on the weekend, be with other believers. It's not just being in a building. Be with other believers. Pray for them, care for them, share with them, and watch what God does. So God bless you, and you have a good Monday.